Hey YouTube, this is a bracket I was working on in the previous video, and you can see the modifications I made, which was adding these additional side pieces so that when the shaft sits in here like that, the air will be trapped between those pieces and the air should hopefully flow a little bit better around it. We'll soon find out, see how it goes. But one of the major changes between the version that I'm currently using there is that I have a hole that goes through here, which was to blow on the extruder up here, but I've done away with that hole in this particular version. One thing I found a little bit curious is to why it created this little bit here. This is a support, and obviously there's no additional stuff going across the top of that, so I don't know why it's created that bit. And there's also a bit over here, so I think with Simplify 3D the supports seem to be a little bit hit and miss with the auto generated support. So anyway, just giving a quick update on this part. We'll fit it up and see how we go. Okay, here's the bracket off the bed. Came out very tidy, only a tiny little bit of support material in the hole there, but it turned out quite good. However, I had one of those kind of awful thoughts was it was printing out. I wonder if the fan direction is correct. I never actually bothered to check it. I've just assumed that the fan would be turning this direction, and the fan actually turns the opposite direction. It's turning this way to force the air in. So I'm going to have to redesign this guy so that this slot comes this direction towards the hole. But I'll put it in for the time being and see how we go. I've managed to get the holes right. It took a little bit just to get the holes the right distance apart. There is a discrepancy between the model, which here my measurement between this hole and this hole on the model compared to what's in the program is slightly different. So I've just had to play a little bit until I get all the settings right and the adjustments done. But that fits in now quite nicely, and we'll see how this goes. Just trying to put together a little bit of a test to see if one design is a little bit more effective than another, because at the end of the day that's the idea of a design change, is to make it better. So just doing a little bit of a blow test on some paper towel here. The top one I seem to be getting a reasonable amount of movement, but the bottom one, let's see if I can get around there with the phone. The bottom, there's a tiny little bit of movement when it's right up close, but it's not what I would call significant airflow, especially compared to the top one. Now I'll just do the other bracket, the previous bracket, the one where I had a little bit more of a recess, and we'll see if there's any difference between the two. Okay, I've just unhooked the one that I had on there, and I've put on the one that was on there, the previous one, or one of the previous versions. This one also has a hole in the back, which I've eliminated from that one. What I'm finding is that that's probably blowing stronger on the main one, and I'm also getting a much bigger or a much greater effect on the bottom one as well. So this one has a hole like that one, but not quite as deep, whereas this design is flush. So obviously the fan needs some kind of area directly behind it in order to be more efficient. So I'll add that to the new design.